The spaceport lights flickered against the night sky of Eldra 9, a planet where humans were rare and poverty was common. Amid the flow of alien workers leaving the docks, Lena Harrow stood alone, clutching a thin folder in her daughter's small hand. Her coat was torn at the sleeves, her shoes too big. She tried to look calm, but her eyes carried the weight of sleepless nights. Little May, barely 6, leaned against her leg, holding a cracked hollow toy that flickered with fading light. Lena had been searching for work for 6 months. Every door had closed. Every alien employer had looked at her with the same cold expression: human, weak, unreliable. Humans were not trusted on Eldra 9 anymore. Decades ago, one human trader had cheated the local council, and since then no one hired their kind. But Lena had no choice. Her daughter was sick. The medicine cost more than she earned cleaning spaceport floors. If she didn't find a real job soon, May's lungs would fail. The last interview. The folder in Lena's hand was thin, her last application. A job listing from the Cygnus Corporation, a company run by aliens from the Relian species, tall, scaled beings with glowing eyes and no patience for human failures. The ad said, "Seeking personal caretaker for advanced AI research facility. Must be discreet, disciplined, and not afraid of isolation." No one wanted that job. Rumors said the facility was haunted by machines that talked to themselves. Experiments gone wrong. Lena didn't care. If it paid enough to buy May's medicine, she'd clean haunted robots all day. When she arrived, 2 Relian guards scanned her ID. One hissed through a translator. "Human applicant? You're wasting your time," she smiled politely. "Please, just one interview." They exchanged glances, then laughed. "Fine. The human wants to die of boredom, let her." They led her through a metal hallway glowing with blue light. The air smelled of oil and ozone. The scientist in the last room stood a figure not alien, but human, Dr. Aaron Vance. His dark hair was messy, his white coat unbuttoned, and his eyes sharp as if he hadn't slept for days. Lena froze. "A human, here?" He turned to her, scanning her from head to toe. "You're applying for caretaker duty?" "Yes, sir," she said softly. He motioned to the chair. "Sit." Behind him, machines hummed quietly. Inside a glass chamber, something glowed faintly, like a beating heart made of light. Aaron looked back at her. "You've worked with children before?" "Yes, I was a school nurse before they closed the human district." He nodded slowly. "And you're not afraid of machines?" Lena smiled faintly. "I'm afraid of losing my daughter, sir. Not machines." Aaron's expression softened for a second, then hardened again. "This job is dangerous. The corporation won't take responsibility if anything happens. You'll be isolated in the facility. No contact for months." "Are you sure you want this?" "I don't have a choice." Silence hung between them. Then Aaron said quietly, "Good. Report tomorrow at dawn." Lena blinked, hardly believing it. "I'm hired?" "For now," he said. "Don't make me regret it." A secret in the lab that night, Lena told May the good news. Her daughter's eyes lit up. "Mommy, we can buy the medicine now?" "Soon, baby. Mommy just needs to work a little." May smiled weakly and fell asleep. Lena watched her breathe, slow, uneven, and whispered, "Just hold on, sweetheart." Next morning, Lena returned to the facility. The guards scanned her again, this time with less laughter. Inside, the hallways buzzed with quiet energy. Dr. Aaron waited by the main terminal. "You'll be cleaning the upper sector and checking the nutrient tanks. Don't touch anything inside Lab 13, understand?" "Yes, sir." But as she passed Lab 13, curiosity made her pause. Behind the glass door, she saw a figure, small, motionless, lying on a table under blue light. It wasn't human. Its skin shimmered like silver, and tubes ran into its chest, connected to that glowing heart she'd seen earlier. Lena whispered, "Is that alive?" Aaron's voice echoed from behind her. "I said, don't go near that lab." She turned quickly, stammering, "I'm sorry, I didn't." He sighed. "That's an experimental subject. Not your concern." But Lena couldn't forget what she'd seen. That small alien child or whatever it was, only can look so fragile, so alive. The whisper in the wires days passed. Lena worked quietly, earning the respect of a few technicians who didn't speak much. She never complained, even when the cleaning drones shocked her gloves or when the recycled air smelled like rust. But every night, as she passed Lab 13, she heard something, A faint whisper, like a child breathing, "Help me." At first she thought it was her imagination. But one night she pressed her ear against the door and the whisper came again. "Please. Help." Lena stepped back, heart racing. The sound came from the glass chamber inside, the glowing one with the small figure. She ran to Dr. Aaron's office, trembling. "Sir, there's something in Lab 13. It's speaking." Aaron looked up sharply. "You heard it?" "Yes." It sounded like a child. He closed his eyes as if fighting an inner storm. "You weren't supposed to hear that. What is it?" she asked. Aaron stood, his expression heavy. "Something the galaxy would never forgive us for." Lena shivered. Outside, lightning flashed over Eldra 9's sky. For the first time in months, fear replaced her exhaustion. Whatever she had just heard, and it wasn't human, and it wasn't supposed to be alive. Lena couldn't sleep that night. The words kept echoing in her mind, soft, broken, and pleading. "Help me." She sat on the edge of the narrow bed in her small staff quarters, staring at the wall. The metal panels hummed faintly with the vibration of the facility's power core. Somewhere beyond those walls, the small voice was still whispering in the dark. Morning came too soon. Her eyes were swollen from crying, but she still put on her work gloves and uniform. May's photo was pinned inside her pocket, a reminder of why she was here. She couldn't afford to lose this job, not when her daughter's life depended on the pay. But the thought of that strange voice pulled at her heart like invisible hands. When she arrived at the lab corridor, Dr. Aaron was already there, standing near the sealed glass of Lab 13. He looked tired, his face pale under the harsh lights. For the first time, Lena noticed how young he really was, maybe early 30s. But his eyes carried years of burden. "You were in this corridor again last night," he said without looking at her. Lena froze. "I just couldn't sleep," he turned to her. "Whatever you think you heard, it's not what you think. The subject in Lab 13 is not alive in the way you understand." "But I heard it speak," Lena insisted. It sounded scared. Aaron's jaw tightened. "That's impossible. The subject is nonverbal. It doesn't even have a voice system installed yet." Her heart pounded. "Then how—" "Enough," he cut in. "Do your assigned work. I'll handle the rest." He walked away before she could reply. But as she began cleaning the hallway floor, she could feel it. The same faint vibration beneath her boots, like something stirring inside the walls. Hours passed. The other workers avoided her, whispering to each other that the human woman was already doomed. The Relian guards stared at her as if waiting for her to fail. But Lena didn't care. She had survived hunger, rejection, and loneliness. She wouldn't break because of whispers. Still, that night, curiosity burned too strong to ignore. When the shifts ended and the lights dimmed, Lena returned to Lab 13. The door's security lock blinked red, but she had learned that sometimes the system lagged during power resets. Carefully, she used her cleaning ID card and pressed a few buttons on the panel. The lock flickered and turned green. The door slid open with a hiss. Inside, the room glowed with soft blue light. The air smelled like ozone and antiseptic. In the center stood the glass chamber she had seen before, tubes connected to it like veins of silver. And inside, there it was. The small figure looked like a child, no older than her daughter, but made of something not quite flesh. Its skin shimmered faintly like crystal dust, and its chest rose and fell slowly, each breath glowing from within. The same glowing heart pulsed softly beneath translucent ribs. Lena approached, trembling. "Hello?" she whispered. The figure's eyes fluttered open. They were pale gold, glowing faintly. It looked at her with fear and innocence mixed together. Then in her mind, not in the air, she heard it again. "Please, help me." Lena stumbled back. "You can talk?" Its lips barely moved, but the voice was clear inside her head. "Hurts inside. Cold." Tears welled in her eyes. "You're a child," she whispered. "They said you were a machine. I don't know what I am." The chamber lights flickered and a monitor beeped. Lena panicked. She reached out to touch the glass. "It's okay. I won't let them hurt you." Before she could say more, alarms blared. The glass chamber sealed tighter, lights flashing red. A robotic voice announced, "Unauthorized entry detected. Security en route." Lena turned, heart pounding. Dr. Aaron stormed in, followed by 2 guards. His expression was sharp with both anger and fear. "What have you done?" he shouted. I just wanted to know what it was, she cried. It spoke to me. He froze. It spoke to you? The guards grabbed her arms, but Aaron raised a hand. Wait, he stared at the glass chamber. The child's golden eyes were still open, watching him. The monitor beside the tank displayed strange patterns, brainwaves spiking rapidly. That's impossible, Aaron whispered. It's responding to human empathy. The guards hissed impatiently. Doctor, she's a security breach. Leave her, he said quietly. For now. The guards hesitated but obeyed. When they left, the lab was silent again except for the soft beeping of the machines. Aaron turned to Lena. His tone had changed, softer, almost pleading. You need to listen carefully. What you saw here cannot be known outside this room. That child is an experiment created to save a dying species, but if the Galactic Council discovers it, they'll destroy everything, including her. Lena shook her head. Then why keep her locked up like this? She's suffering. Because she's not supposed to exist, Aaron said. She was born from both human and alien DNA. A hybrid. Illegal under galactic law. Lena's breath caught. A human? And an alien? Yes, he said. The first of her kind. A life created from two worlds that hate each other. She looked at the chamber again, at the fragile child curled under the glow of machines. Something in her heart shifted. She had seen pain before, in May's sick eyes, in her own reflection after years of rejection. But this was something deeper. Aaron ran a hand through his hair. You shouldn't have hurt her. Now you're part of something dangerous. Lena wiped her tears. I don't care. She's a child. And I won't let her die alone. Aaron stared at her, a war raging behind his eyes. Then he said almost in a whisper, Then God help us both, because the council will come for her soon. Outside, thunder rolled across Eldra 9's stormy sky, shaking the lab windows. Inside, the hybrid child opened her eyes again and reached weakly toward the glass. Lena pressed her hand against it, whispering, You're not alone anymore. And somewhere deep in the circuits and wires, the machines hummed softly, almost like a heartbeat, answering her touch. Lena's hand still trembled as she walked back to her quarters. The echo of the child's voice lingered in her mind like a ghost. You're not alone anymore. It had said nothing more after that, but the connection between them hadn't faded. Even now, Lena could feel it. A faint warmth in her chest like the echo of another heartbeat matching her own. Sleep never came that night. She sat on her bed, clutching May's picture. Her daughter's thin face smiled up from the worn photograph, frozen in better times. If she were here, Lena thought, she'd want me to help that child. But helping would mean breaking laws, betraying her employer, and risking both their lives. The Galactic Council didn't forgive those who interfered with genetic hybrids. It was forbidden to mix species, especially with humans. The last scientist who tried had vanished without a trace, and now Lena was standing in the middle of that secret. When morning came, the corridors of the facility buzzed with quiet tension. Guards whispered to each other. Dr. Aaron looked more exhausted than usual, his eyes bloodshot, but he said nothing about what happened the night before. Lena kept her head down, pretending to clean the lab consoles. Still, she felt eyes on her, metallic, silent, and watchful. The surveillance drones hovered longer near her station now. Then, during the mid-shift, Aaron appeared behind her. We need to talk, he said. He led her into his office and locked the door. The walls shimmered with a privacy field, muffling all sound. He leaned against his desk, arms folded. You bonded with it, he said flatly. Lena frowned. Bonded? The hybrid. She linked to your neural pattern. It's not supposed to happen. We used every AI filter, but somehow she found you. Lena shook her head. I didn't do anything. She just reached out. Aaron exhaled, rubbing his temples. Her name is Lyra. That's what I call her anyway. She was meant to be a bridge. Proof that human compassion could merge with alien resilience. But the council saw her as an abomination. Lena's heart ached at the name. Lyra, that's beautiful. She's beautiful, Aaron said softly, and doomed if anyone finds out she's still alive. He walked to the wall panel and brought up a holographic display. It showed medical readings, brainwaves, heart rates, data streams written in alien script. She's been stable for weeks, but the council scouts are coming to inspect the facility in 3 days. If they detect her signal, they'll erase every trace. Lena stared at him. Then we have to hide her. Aaron gave a bitter laugh. You think I haven't tried? I've built layers of code to shield her vitals, but her empathy field, the thing that makes her alive, leaks energy. And now that she's bonded to you, your emotional response amplifies it. Lena blinked. You're saying my feelings make her stronger? He nodded. Or more visible. The silence between them grew heavy. Lena looked down at her hands. Then I'll learn to control it. If she needs me, I'll stay away. Aaron shook his head. No, it's too late for that. She's awake now because of you. She's learning emotions through your memories. Lena's heart stopped. My memories. She dreams what you've lived, he said. Every pain, every moment you loved, every loss. That's how she's growing. For a long time, neither spoke. The air was thick with the hum of machines and unspoken fear. Then suddenly, alarms screamed through the facility. Red lights flashed across the walls. Aaron snapped to the control panel. What now? A robotic voice echoed. Unstable energy detected in Lab 13, containment breach imminent. Lena's eyes widened. Lyra, she ran before Aaron could stop her. The corridors glowed crimson as emergency drones zipped past. Steam hissed from the vents. When she reached the lab, the door was half open, sparks flying from the lock. Inside, the chamber had shattered. Glass shards floated in the air, suspended in a strange field of blue light. In the center stood Lyra, awake, trembling and terrified. Tubes hung from her arms, and the glow in her chest pulsed like a dying star. Lena. The voice filled her mind again, clearer this time. It hurts. Everything hurts, Lena rushed forward. It's okay, I'm here. She took off her gloves and gently touched Lyra's hand. It was warm, too warm, like touching sunlight. Aaron burst into the room behind her. Step back. Her containment core is collapsing. But when he tried to pull Lena away, Lyra's hand tightened around hers. The lights flickered. Energy readings on the monitors spiked. Then, for a brief moment, Lena saw something. Flashes of memories that weren't hers. A vast alien city made of glass, stars falling like rain, screams, fire, loneliness. Lyra's voice echoed in her mind. They left me. I didn't want to be born. Lena cried out, falling to her knees, still holding the girl's hand. You're not alone anymore, she whispered again, tears streaming down her face. The blue glow faded slowly and Lyra's breathing steadied. The broken shards around them fell to the ground with soft clinks. Aaron stood frozen, watching the readings return to normal. You stabilized her, he said, disbelief in his voice. Lena wiped her tears. No, she stabilized herself. She just needed someone to care. Aaron stared at her for a long time. You don't understand what this means, he said finally. If the council finds out she made contact, real emotional synchronization, they'll destroy both of you. The bond you share is proof that the laws are wrong, and they'd rather kill the proof than change the rules. Lena looked at Lyra, who was now staring back with curious golden eyes. Then we'll have to hide her, she said quietly. Somewhere the council can't find her. Aaron's expression darkened. Do you know what you're saying? You'd be an outlaw, a traitor to the system. Lena stood tall, her voice calm but firm. I'm already a human on an alien world, Doctor. What else can they take from me? For the first time, Aaron didn't have an answer. He only looked at her, and in that moment something changed in his eyes. Respect, fear, maybe even hope. Outside, thunder rolled again, shaking the ground. And deep beneath the laboratory, something ancient stirred in the network. A signal, faint but spreading, as if the universe itself had just noticed the birth of something new. The storm outside raged for 2 days straight, lightning flashing across the metal domes of the Cygnus facility. Inside, the air was thick with tension. Rumors had spread among the workers. Something had escaped in the night. A power surge had damaged the core, and Dr. Vance had locked down the upper sector. No one spoke Lena's name, but everyone knew the human woman had something to do with it. Lena stayed in her quarters, pretending to rest, though her mind was anything but calm. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Lyra's glowing eyes and heard her soft, frightened voice. They left me. It haunted her. She couldn't stop thinking about how a being so pure could be treated like a mistake. When the door buzzer rang that evening, Lena's heart jumped. It was Aaron. He stepped inside quickly and locked the door behind him. His face looked even more tired than before. The shadows under his eyes made him look older. We don't have much time, he said quietly. The council's inspection team has arrived in orbit. They'll land tomorrow. Lena's throat went dry. Already? I thought we had 3 days. They moved faster. Someone must have reported the energy surge. He glanced toward the ceiling, lowering his voice. They'll find Lyra's readings if we don't erase the evidence tonight. Lena stood. Then we erase it. Aaron hesitated, looking at her. You don't understand. The data isn't just files. It's her life. Her DNA maps, her creation logs, her neural pattern. If I delete it all, there'll be no way to restore her if something happens. Then we back it up, she said firmly. We hide it somewhere safe. He gave a small, tired laugh. You think I haven't tried? Every data port in this building is monitored. The moment I copy a single byte off-site, the system will flag it. Then we don't send it off-site, Lena said. We send it with her. Aaron frowned. What do you mean? She's linked to me, right? You said her mind connected with mine. What if the data could be stored inside that connection? He stared at her like she'd spoken madness. You're suggesting embedding encrypted genetic data inside a neural resonance bond. I don't know what that means, Lena admitted. But if it saves her, then yes. Aaron paced, running a hand through his hair. It's risky. It could overload your nervous system. You could die. Lena met his eyes. So could she. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then, finally, he nodded. All right. Meet me in Lab 13 after midnight. That night, the corridors were empty. Only the hum of distant machines filled the silence. Lena crept through the shadows, her ID badge trembling in her hand. When she reached Lab 13, the door opened before she even touched it. Aaron stood inside, surrounded by flickering screens. Lyra was sitting on the floor this time, not in the chamber. She looked small and fragile, wrapped in a metallic blanket. When she saw Lena, her face lit up, not just with light, but with something like joy. You came. The child's voice echoed softly in Lena's mind. Always, Lena whispered, kneeling beside her. I told you you're not alone. Aaron moved to the control panel. Once we start, there's no stopping the process. You'll feel everything she's ever felt. Every memory, every pain. Are you sure you're ready? Lena nodded. Do it. He inserted a chip into the console. The machines came alive, lights dancing across the walls. Lyra reached out, placing her hand over Lena's heart. A pulse of golden light spread between them. Instantly, Lena gasped. Her mind filled with flashes. Alien worlds, twin suns burning red, creatures crying out in fear as cities crumbled. Then warmth, laughter, and a face, Aaron's younger, hopeful face, smiling down at a small, glowing embryo inside a glass orb. Lena cried out as the visions flooded her, but she didn't pull away. She held onto Lyra's hand tighter. It's okay, she whispered. I've got you. The room shook. The machines whirred faster. Aaron's voice came faintly through the noise. It's working. The data's embedding into her empathic field. Then, just as suddenly, everything went silent. The glow faded. Lena collapsed, gasping for air. Lyra was lying beside her, eyes closed but breathing. Aaron knelt down, scanning the readings. It's done, he said, his voice trembling. You did it. The entire archive is inside the bond now. They can't trace it. Lena smiled weakly. Then we just have to get her out. Aaron hesitated. You're not serious. I'm taking her off this planet, she said firmly. You said they'd destroy her. I won't let that happen. Aaron looked at her as if she'd lost her mind. You can't just walk out of here with a hybrid. The scanners will detect her before you reach the docks. Then help me find another way. He stared at her for a long time, then exhaled slowly. There's one route, a cargo tunnel under the eastern wing. It leads to the waste ejection pods, but it's heavily shielded. If we're caught, we won't be, Lena said. Aaron gave a half smile. You really believe that, don't you? I have to. He looked at her one last time, then handed her a small black card. This will override the outer lock. You'll have 10 minutes once it's used. After that, the system resets. Lena nodded and picked up Lyra, wrapping her in the metallic blanket. The child stirred slightly, glowing faintly against her chest. Mommy? Lyra whispered, the word trembling through her mind. Lena froze, tears welling up. What did you call me? Lyra looked up at her, eyes soft. You feel like home. Aaron turned away, his voice rough. Go, before I change my mind. Lena took one last look at him. Thank you, Doctor. He didn't answer. He was already typing commands into the system, erasing logs, deleting traces of their movements. The lights flickered as security cameras went blind for a few precious minutes. Lena slipped into the corridor, clutching Lyra close. Every echo of her footsteps felt like thunder. Ahead, the metal doors of the tunnel loomed, waiting. Behind her, alarms began to rise again. The Council's ships had landed. She pressed the card against the lock. The light turned green. Hold on, baby, she whispered. We're almost free. The door opened, and the darkness beyond swallowed them whole. The tunnel stretched into endless darkness. Lena ran, her boots echoing off the metal walls. She held Lyra close, the child's faint golden glow lighting their path like a fragile lantern. Every few steps, Lena turned to glance behind her, afraid of the sound of pursuit, afraid of silence. The air was cold and tasted of metal dust. Somewhere deep in the facility above them, alarms screamed through the floors. The Council had arrived sooner than expected. Lena didn't know how long she had. Maybe minutes. Maybe less. Almost there, sweetheart, she whispered. Lyra's small fingers clutched at her sleeve. The child's breathing was uneven, her light flickering weakly. Cold, Lyra murmured in her mind. It's so cold. I know, baby. Just stay awake. The tunnel began to slope downward, toward the old cargo ejection bay. Lena could already hear the wind howling through the outer vents. Freedom was close. But before she could reach the end, a voice echoed from behind. Lena! She turned sharply. Dr. Aaron was running after her, his lab coat torn, carrying a small metal case. Her heart leaped between relief and panic. What are you doing here? You should have stayed behind. I can't, he said, breathless. They know it was me who erased the files. If they catch me, they'll interrogate me, and they'll find you. He handed her the case. This contains Lyra's stabilizer serum. Without it, her systems will fail before you leave orbit. Lena opened the case with trembling hands. Inside were small glass vials glowing pale blue. How long will it last? Maybe 2 days, Aaron said. After that, she'll need medical support. 2 days is enough, Lena said, determination flaring in her eyes. But before they could move, the sound of footsteps echoed from the tunnel entrance. Metal boots, synchronized, heavy. Council guards. Aaron's face went pale. They're here. He looked down the tunnel. The pod chamber is just ahead. Go. Lena hesitated. What about you? I'll buy you time. No, she said, clutching his arm. You'll die. He smiled faintly, the kind of smile that hides pain. I was already dead the moment I created her. Now go before all of this means nothing. Before she could argue, he shoved her forward. Take her and run. Lena stumbled, clutching Lyra tight, and ran. Behind her, she heard the hiss of energy rifles, the flash of plasma against the tunnel walls. Aaron's voice shouted something. Then a burst of sound and silence. Tears blurred her vision, but she didn't stop. She couldn't stop. The pod chamber appeared ahead, a small metal platform with 2 escape capsules. She slid to a halt, forcing the control panel open. The system flickered weakly. Years of disuse had left it unstable. Come on, she whispered. Come on. The pod's lights flickered to life. The airlock opened with a hiss. She stepped inside, cradling Lyra against her chest. Hold tight, baby. We're going home. But as she reached for the launch controls, Lyra stirred and looked up at her. Her golden eyes shimmered with tears. He's gone, she whispered softly in Lena's mind. Lena froze. You can feel him? Lyra nodded. His light faded. He gave it to you. Lena's throat tightened. Then we carry him with us. She pressed the launch button. The pod shook violently, then detached from the bay with a deafening clang. For a moment, the tunnel lights faded behind them, replaced by the endless dark of space. Stars spread out before them, silver dust scattered across an ocean of black. Lena had never seen them this close. It was beautiful and terrifying all at once. Lyra pressed her hand against the glass viewport, eyes wide. "So many lights," she whispered. "Yes," Lena said softly. "And somewhere out there, there's a world where you can be free." But their peace lasted only seconds. Warning lights flared red across the pod's console. "Unidentified vessel detected," the AI voice said coldly. "Council interceptors inbound." Lena cursed under her breath. Of course. She gripped the controls, her fingers shaking. The pod wasn't built for speed, just disposal. No weapons, no defense. The radar screen showed 3 small dots closing in fast. "We can't outrun them," she whispered. Lyra looked up, her glow dimming. "I can help." Lena blinked. "What do you mean?" Lyra touched the metal wall of the pod. "I can talk to machines, like you talk to me." Before Lena could stop her, the pod systems flickered. Energy readings spiked. The little girl's eyes glowed brighter, golden veins of light running along her arms. "Lyra, no, you'll burn yourself out." But Lyra only smiled weakly. "Mommy, trust me." The pod jerked violently as the thrusters roared to life. Outside, the stars blurred into streaks of white. The interceptors behind them tried to follow, but their signals vanished from the radar one by one, lost in the distortion field. Then, as suddenly as it started, everything went quiet again. The pod drifted through a silent patch of space, its fuel nearly gone. Lena knelt beside Lyra. The child was pale, her glow faint. "You saved us," Lena whispered, brushing hair from her forehead. Lyra smiled faintly. "You taught me, love." Tears spilled down Lena's cheeks. "Don't talk like that. We're going to find help." She looked out the viewport again. In the distance, a planet shimmered with blue oceans and white clouds, small, alive, untouched. "There," she said softly. "We'll land there." Lyra closed her eyes. "Home?" "Yes," Lena said, kissing her forehead. "Home." She activated the descent thrusters. The pod glowed red as it entered the planet's atmosphere, streaking across the sky like a falling star. Behind them, the Council's ships scoured the system, searching, scanning, failing. Their signals could not find the tiny pod hidden beneath the world's stormy clouds. As the pod plunged toward the surface, Lena held Lyra close, whispering, "We made it, baby. We're free." And far above, among the stars, a faint signal pulsed in the void. Dr. Aaron's last encrypted message, sent seconds before his death. "For every law they write against us, love will always find a way." The pod vanished into the planet's clouds, its fiery trail fading behind it. The sky burned red as the escape pod cut through the atmosphere, trailing fire and smoke. Inside, alarms screamed, metal panels shook, and Lena held Lyra tightly against her chest. The little girl's light flickered with each jolt, dimming like a candle struggling in the wind. "Hold on, baby," Lena whispered. "We're almost there." Outside, the storm clouds of the new planet swirled with blue lightning. The pod broke through the final layer, its thrusters sputtering before slamming hard into soft ground. A wave of dirt and vapor exploded around them. Then, silence. For a few long seconds there was no movement, no sound. Only the faint ticking of cooling metal. Then Lena groaned, pushing herself upright. Her body ached everywhere. She touched her forehead and felt blood, but it didn't matter. She looked down at Lyra, who was limp in her arms. "Lyra, sweetheart?" The child stirred, her small fingers twitching. "Mommy?" Lena laughed through her tears. "Yeah, I'm here. We made it." The pod's hatch was jammed. Lena kicked it once, twice, and then with a metallic groan it flew open. Warm, humid air rushed in, carrying the smell of soil and rain. She stepped out into the light. The world around them was alive. green fields stretching as far as she could see, trees with silver leaves shimmering in the wind, and rivers glowing faintly with bioluminescent life. The sky was soft purple, filled with two small moons that watched silently overhead. For the first time in years, Lena felt something she had almost forgotten: peace. Lyra blinked at the sight, her eyes wide with wonder. "Pretty," she whispered in her mind. "Yeah," Lena said softly. "Pretty." She set the child down, letting her bare feet touch the warm grass. Lyra smiled faintly as light flowed from her toes, spreading through the blades around her. Wherever she stepped, the grass shimmered gold for a moment before fading back to green. Lena gasped. "You're healing it?" Lyra tilted her head. It was sad. "I made it happy again." Lena smiled, tears filling her eyes. "You really are something special." They walked until sunset, following the sound of running water. Eventually, they found a small cave hidden beneath a hill near a glowing river. It was dry, safe, and quiet. Lena gathered supplies from the pod, emergency rations, a med kit, and the small metal case Aaron had given her. The stabilizer serum glowed softly inside. She injected a small dose into Lyra's arm. The child winced, then sighed with relief as her color returned. "You'll feel better soon," Lena said. Lyra leaned against her, whispering, "I miss him." Lena looked up at the stars through the cave opening. "Me too." They sat in silence for a while, listening to the soft hum of the river outside. Then Lyra asked, "Will they come for us?" Lena hesitated. "Maybe, but we'll be ready." Lyra nodded. "Mommy will protect me." Lena brushed the child's hair gently. "Always." But deep down, fear gnawed at her. The Council never stopped hunting. They had the resources of half the galaxy, and if they found any trace of Lyra's existence, they would burn this planet to ashes. Still, Lena had something they didn't: love and a reason to fight. Days passed. Lena built a small shelter near the river, using debris from the pod. Lyra spent her time exploring, her curiosity endless. She would touch trees, flowers, even stones, and each one glowed faintly when she did, as if responding to her presence. "This world listens to me," she said one morning, her eyes shining. "Maybe it knows you're kind," Lena replied. But strange things began to happen. The more Lyra interacted with the planet, the faster it seemed to change. Flowers bloomed out of season. Rivers shimmered with brighter light. The air felt warmer, richer, almost alive. One night as Lena slept, a soft glow filled the cave. She opened her eyes and saw Lyra standing at the entrance, staring at the stars. Her golden aura was brighter than ever, and her hair floated gently as if touched by invisible wind. "Lyra?" Lena whispered. Lyra turned, her eyes distant and full of light. "They're calling me." "Who's calling you?" "The stars," she said simply. "I can hear them now. They know I'm here." Lena stood, fear cutting through her calm. "We need to stay quiet, baby." "If they hear you, it's not the Council," Lyra said, her voice trembling with emotion. "It's others." "Like me," Lena froze. "Others?" Lyra nodded. "They're far away, but they're scared too. They feel what I feel, I think." I woke them up. Before Lena could respond, the ground beneath them trembled. The glow from Lyra's body flared, spreading across the valley. Rivers shimmered brighter. Trees pulsed with golden veins. "Lyra, stop. You'll draw attention." Lena cried, "I can't." Lyra gasped. "It's too strong." Lena rushed forward, wrapping her arms around the child. "Listen to me. You're not alone anymore, remember? You control it, not the other way around." Lyra's light flickered, then slowly dimmed. The tremors stopped. The valley went quiet again. Lena held her close, rocking her gently. "It's okay. You're okay," Lyra whispered weakly. "They heard me, Mommy. They'll come now." Lena's heart pounded. Who will? But Lyra had already fallen asleep in her arms, exhausted. Outside, the two moons hung low in the sky, their light reflecting off the river like twin eyes. And somewhere beyond those stars, something vast had stirred. A signal that had traveled light years, waking ancient systems from their slumber. Lena didn't know it yet, but she and Lyra had not just escaped the Council. They had called the attention of something far older and far more powerful, something that remembered the first laws of creation and the forbidden bond between human and alien blood. As the wind whispered through the glowing grass, Lena looked up at the sky and murmured, "Whatever comes, I'll protect her." And in the distance a faint hum answered, a sound too deep for human ears, too old for science. The universe was listening now. The night was silent, but the stars were not. They shimmered brighter than ever, pulsing in strange rhythms like they were whispering to each other. Lena sat outside the cave, her arms wrapped around Lyra, who slept soundly beside her. The fire crackled, throwing long shadows across the glowing river. She hadn't slept in 2 days. The air felt heavy, charged with something she couldn't name. Every few minutes the sky flickered with distant flashes, not lightning but light, like ships slipping through the void. Lena stared upward, her heart pounding. She could feel it deep inside her bones when the universe was shifting. Something was coming. Behind her, Lyra stirred. "They're closer," the child whispered without opening her eyes. "They heard me." Lena brushed hair from her daughter's glowing face. "Who, sweetheart?" "The council." Lyra shook her head weakly. "Not them. The old ones." "The first," Lena frowned. "I don't understand." Lyra sat up slowly, her golden eyes reflecting the firelight. Before the laws, before the worlds were divided, there were beings that made life. They connected everything. Stars, humans, aliens, all part of one breath. They called it the harmony. "The harmony?" Lena whispered. Lyra nodded. "It was lost when the species began to hate each other. When they started building walls instead of bridges. But I woke it again." Lena's chest tightened. "And what happens now that it's awake?" Lyra looked at her with sadness beyond her years. "They're coming to see if I belong, or if I must be unmade." The wind shifted suddenly, carrying a low hum that rippled across the valley. The river glowed brighter, bending toward the cave like liquid light. Then from the sky, something descended, not a ship, not a flame, but a figure made of starlight and shadow. Lena shielded her eyes as the light grew until it took form. Tall, graceful, with a face that seemed both human and alien. Its eyes burned like suns, and when it spoke, its voice filled the air and Lena's mind at once. "The child is the echo. The forbidden union. We have waited long for this." Lena stepped forward, her hands shaking but her voice steady. "She's not forbidden. She's alive. She's good." The being tilted its head slightly. "You speak with courage, human. Yet you carry the fault of your kind. Creation without balance." Lyra stepped beside her mother, her glow matching the being's light. "I didn't ask to be made," she said softly. "But I don't want to be destroyed. I want to live." The being regarded her silently. The valley grew still, not a sound, not even the rustle of wind. Then it said, "The laws of the galaxy forbid the blending of life, yet you carry the resonance of compassion, something lost for eons." Lena's heart pounded. "She's proof that love isn't the enemy of law," she said. "It's what gives life meaning. She's what you've all forgotten." The being's light flickered, and for a moment Lena thought she saw others. Shapes in the clouds, faint outlines of colossal forms watching from above. "The council will come for her soon," the being said. "They fear what they do not understand, but her existence cannot be hidden forever." Lyra reached out her hand. "If they find me, they'll destroy me. But if I can reach the stars before them, maybe I can show them." "Show them what?" Lena whispered. Lyra smiled softly. "That harmony isn't gone. It's just sleeping inside everyone." Tears filled Lena's eyes. "You're just a child. You shouldn't have to save the universe." Lyra's gaze was calm, wise. "You already saved me, Mommy. Now I'll save us." The being of light raised its arm. A symbol formed in the air, a golden ring spinning slowly. "This world will protect you for a while. But when the time comes, the child must choose her path. If she awakens the harmony fully, the laws of the galaxy will change forever." The air shimmered, and then, just like that, the being vanished, leaving only silence. Lena fell to her knees, overwhelmed. Lyra touched her hand. "Don't cry." He wasn't angry, he was sad. Lena wiped her tears. "Why sad?" "Because they forgot what it means to love," Lyra said softly. Days passed again. The storms faded, replaced by calm skies and bright nights. Lena built a small home from the wreckage of the pod, planting crops near the river. Life for a while was peaceful, but peace never lasts. One morning, the air was filled with a low vibration, deep and rhythmic. Lena rushed outside. In the distance, above the horizon, 3 council ships cut through the clouds, their metal bodies gleaming silver. Her blood went cold. They found us. Lyra appeared beside her, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. It's okay, she said quietly. It's time. No. Lena grabbed her shoulders. You can't go. They'll kill you. Lyra shook her head gently. They can't kill what they don't understand. Before Lena could stop her, Lyra stepped forward. The ground trembled as golden light began to radiate from her body, spreading across the valley like waves of warmth. The grass turned gold, the trees shimmered, and the air itself seemed to sing. The council ships stopped mid-air. Their weapons glowed, then dimmed. From their hulls, holograms flickered to life. Soldiers, officials, all frozen in awe as the light touched them. Lyra's voice filled the sky. You hunted me because you feared what I was. But look, I'm not destruction. I'm life. Her words echoed through every mind, human and alien alike. They saw not a weapon, not an abomination, but a child. Fragile, kind, glowing with warmth that felt like home. One by one, the ships powered down. Their lights dimmed to nothing, and for the first time in history, silence filled the skies, a silence not of war but of understanding. Lena ran to Lyra, tears streaming down her face. You did it. Lyra smiled faintly, her glow beginning to fade. No, we did. You taught me love. I only shared it. She leaned into Lena's arms, whispering softly. Tell them not to forget again. Then the light around her body dissolved into golden dust, rising into the air, spreading across the stars. Lena reached out, sobbing. Lyra, no! But the dust sparkled like fireflies, rising higher until it joined the heavens. And as Lena watched, the stars above seemed to rearrange themselves, forming a pattern of connected lights, a bridge across the galaxy. The harmony reborn. Lena sank to the ground, whispering through her tears. You changed everything, my love. You changed everything. Years later, stories spread across the stars. Stories of a single human who defied the laws of the galaxy, and a child of light who taught the universe how to feel again. And somewhere, deep in the endless night, a soft golden glow drifted between worlds, a heartbeat among the stars, whispering to all who listened, no law is greater than love.